Babies that could have a chance at life were murdered.
A person is a person, no matter how small.
A woman's body is not up for political debate.
After 50 years, Roe versus Wade was overturned in the US, the landmark case that gave women the constitutional right to an abortion.
Constitution does not confer a right to abortion.
There have been mixed reactions from lawmaking MPs here.
They think that women have an absolute right to bodily autonomy in this matter, whereas I think in the case of abortion, that right is qualified by the fact that another body is involved. But this is a proper topic for political debate.
And now people are wondering if something similar to Roe versus Wade could happen here in the UK. So we're on our way to meet a young woman called Sam. She terminated 2 pregnancies when she was in her early 20s, and since then she's been campaigning to end the stigma around abortion.
I'm very, very pro-choice, pro-abortion, actually. If I'm going to be specific, I may as well put that title on it. I think people take for granted that they think it's easily accessible and it's a human right, and it's a lot more fragile than people think.
How protected and how safe do you think the women's right to abortion is in this country?
It could be much safer. It could be much safer. It's not enshrined in law, it's enshrined in criminal law. We don't have the human right to abortion at any time in any case at all. It still has to be signed off by 2 doctors. You still have to prove that it's medically needed.
And do you think progress has been made in this country?
Some progress, but I don't think we've pushed hard enough for it to be removed from criminal law. It doesn't make sense that we're still being governed by laws from the past.
We are a very different country to America, and in reality it's unlikely we'd ever go the same way. But despite the fact that over 200,000 abortions were performed here in 2021, technically women in England and Wales can still be prosecuted for terminating a pregnancy. Did you know that in this country abortion is actually illegal, but only in certain circumstances it isn't?
No, I actually didn't know that. That's really shocking.
What do you mean by I didn't know?
You need 2 doctors to prove that it would badly damage your mental or physical health. I think a lot of people didn't know that.
No, I don't think I did. Yeah. No.
You might wonder how that works. Well, the 1861 Offences Against the Person Act, which harks back to the Victorian era, criminalised abortions. 100 years later, the Abortion Act in 1967 legalised abortions with an authorised provider, but the deliberate ending of a pregnancy wasn't legalised. The law is framed in a way that means abortion is not a right. It gives an exemption from prosecution in certain circumstances, when 2 doctors agree it would be risky for the mental or physical health of a woman. The rules in Northern Ireland have traditionally been much stricter, but a campaign spearheaded by the Labour MP Stella Creasy led to abortion being decriminalised in Northern Ireland. Now, a cross-party amendment's being tabled to make abortion a fundamental right across the UK. And while some MPs have condemned the choice to reverse Roe versus Wade,
clearly it has massive impacts on people's thinking around the world. It's a very important decision. I've got to tell you, I think it's a big step backwards.
others supported the decision and its implications.
Indeed, would the Minister not agree that giving legal protection to the unborn is arguably a clear recognition of the unborn life, and America have done just that, and I welcome the bold and courageous decision.
Here in the UK, laws on abortion are decided not in the courts but by elected MPs. That means enshrining abortion as a human right by passing a cross-party amendment won't be simple. MPs from all sides of the House would get a vote. But some politicians, like Dominic Raab, warn that an amendment to enshrine the right to abortion could lead to other issues. Courts could potentially take on cases that seek to redefine, challenge or limit a woman's right to abortion, in the same way the US Supreme Court did when it overturned Roe versus Wade.
Will he accept the cross-party amendment to his forthcoming Bill of Rights, which enshrines a woman's right to choose in law?
The position, as she knows, is settled in UK law in relation to abortion. It's decided by honourable members across this House. It's an issue of conscience. I don't think there is a strong case for change. What I wouldn't want to do is find ourselves with the greatest respect in the US position, where this is being litigated through the courts rather than settled, as it is now settled, by honourable members in this House.
Every single time it comes to giving women equal control over their bodies that men have, people find objections. plain and simple. We don't have equality in this country until men and women have equal right to choose what happens to their bodies. And for women, this is a particular right that is a human right and it needs to be upheld. Right now, there are people being put on trial for having abortions in this country. Terrible, horrific stories of young women who've had miscarriages being accused of committing a murder because it's based on law from the 1800s.
Stella Creasy is right. In fact, 2 British women are facing prison for having an abortion, including one who obtained the pills from an authorised provider. The alleged crime falls under the Offences Against the Person Act. It carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. But there are those who disagree. I spoke to a pro-life doctor about his concerns.
So most people in the UK think that abortion should be generally available and legal. But as I suggested earlier, most people also think that the current law is too radical, allowing abortion for any reason up until 6 months and allowing abortion up until birth for if the child has a disability. Most people are shocked when they actually hear what the law actually says. And of course, if abortion were enshrined as a right, a basic human right, it's likely that that would be even more radical. We would see abortion up until birth for any reason.
A minority of people think abortion law should change and be made stricter. Seema, not her real name, changed her mind about having a termination because of campaigners outside a clinic. Seema now has an 8-year-old son and thinks access to abortions is too easy. She believes women should be given more options and more support, and abortion should be the last resort.
It was an unplanned pregnancy, but I always wanted a second child as well. But our circumstances were very bad at that time. It's very easy here. So when you go and ask them, that they straight away give you this Mary Stops number, and then they book your appointment. They are not interested in you, whatever. I think it's like a business. It should be stricter. People should consider what they're doing.
You know, some of the sort of catastrophizing might be unwarranted in a sense. I mean, I don't think there's any realistic chance of anywhere in the UK banning abortion completely or anything like that anytime soon. So I don't think we're really having that conversation.
The balance between the rights of an unborn child and a woman's right to choose has always ignited strong feelings on both sides of the debate. Britain and America, though, are very different countries, and it would take a lot in practice for things to change here. Ali Fortescue, Sky News.